Hello YouTube, I'm back again with another video, but this one's going to be a unique, exciting duel because I'm finally going back to make 60 card Danger Orcust and Mekk-Knight's Grand Phantom Knight deck. So let me rephrase that. It's a 60 card deck that is basically Danger Orcust, Mekk-Knight's Grand Phantom Knight deck. So 5 archetypes into one. And we're playing against another hybrid 60 card deck that revolves around, I assume, obviously Kashtira with a mix of red eyes because they have synergy since they utilize level 7 monsters too. But this deck, I was surprised because considering how overrated Kashtira's managed to pull through. And I'm not going to spoil what's going to happen. Even I kind of had mixed feelings about this duel, whether I'd be able to like compete with using this deck. But considering this is my own build, this deck is actually completely underrated. Like for its own versatility and something that I managed to come up with that no one else has ever thought of. So obviously he's gonna resolve his Rise Heart. I already expect him to immediately chain when on summon to banish one Kashtira card. So I just mean this that before he banishes a Kashtira card from his deck, so might as well just banish the 3 top cards face down immediately. And I'm not going to spoil what's going to happen. You guys might as well watch what's going to happen. So, because this duel to me came as a shock. Although Kashtira is very powerful, it is not really considered to be that broken because they have ways of outing it. It's just the fact that I think it's the fact that what makes the deck annoying is that they either mill your deck or they pretty much just banish a bunch of cards instead of like sending it to the grave. So banishing is very crucial because especially if it's face down, because it doesn't really I'm not it's not the fact that it stops you from playing, it's the fact that it banishes a bunch of cards, it can mill your deck, and it can leave you hanging, seriously. So but overall this duel is gonna be very exciting as you just gotta watch and see what's gonna happen. So this could have been the fact maybe he misplayed, so I tried to make sure to play it safe. So even I'll be honest, I do take my time with Small World. I'm trying to make sure I'm playing the card correctly because I kind of had a confusing hand, so I wanted to make sure I was making the right decision. But Small World helps regardless because it helps you get to your starters a lot more easier. So you just gotta be aware what's in your hand and deck as well. So. And he's gonna go for another rank 7 play. So as you see now, let me fast forward for which it seems like an odd choice. Odd Eye's Absolute Dragon, but it, like I said, it just isn't enough to stop whatever I have on field. He doesn't have any disruptions. He could have gone for Fenrir, so it just seems like a pretty odd choice with what he's summoning. So he could have actually gone for Fenrir, may have, even though it would have just banished one of my face-up cards face down. Even though I might have a way to overcome his pressure and overcome his presence with the cards he has on field. But again, it is enough to stop me, as you're about to see right now. So and lucky for me, he milled my Gizmek, so I'm extremely lucky and happy. So that will make a huge difference in this duel. So as I move forward, I'm going to continue with my main phase. Since there are these 2 cards in the same column, supposed to summon Purple Nightfall. And then I'm going to normal summon Scrap Raptor, destroy itself to add Scrap Recycler from my deck to my hand, and I immediately get to normal summon a Scrap Monster from my hand, which I'm going to do right now, as you see. And then Scrap Recycler, when it's normal summon, I can send a Machine Monster from my deck to the graveyard. And then I'm going to banish Mekk-Knight Purple Nightfall to add Blue Sky from my deck to my hand. I'm supposed to summon it. And then I get to add up to that many cards, depending on my opponent, the cards in my opponent's cards in the same zone that they have right now. So he has 2 cards. So I basically get to add 2 Mekk-Knight monsters from my deck with different names. So and my turn does not end here. You can kind of tell, looking at my hand, I still have a lot of plays that I can make that I'm pretty much committed to. So this is where things get a little slow because I want to confirm with Small World what cards I can banish. So just gonna reveal. Well, obviously I was gonna banish. I was showing you the monster. That way it makes things easier. So I'm gonna add Ancient Cloak just in case, because I already normal summoned this turn. So there's no point of actually keeping Gears in my hand. So even if it might help me on my next turn, because this turn is gonna go even further. So I'm still extending my board as you're waiting on the monsters and the link summons that I have. Going to use Scrap Wyvern's effect. And apparently I misplayed at some point, but I was incorrectly reading one of the cards, apparently, so I don't get to resolve Scrap Psycho's effect unless I pop one card first on my field, so just fine by me. Gonna send Jet Synchron, and then with Jet Synchron Grave, sending Ancient Cloak from my hand to grave, special summoning to the field. I'm gonna go for a Link 2 to go into Lib, and I'm gonna use Lib's effect, setting Succession. I'm gonna have to banish Jet Synchron, and I'm using Ancient Cloak's effect to add a Phantom Knight monster from my deck to my hand. I'm still thinking about it. I'm gonna use War Legacy Succession, summoning Recycler again, doing the same like pattern, just sending a machine monster from my deck to my hand when it's summoned to the field, so which will help me proceed and stack my graveyard full of resources so I can continue with my onslaught. And moving forward, using one of my dangers effect, Nessie, discarding Silent moves randomly, special summoning Nessie, draw 1. Using Ancient Silent Boots effect, banishing itself to add a Phantom Knight adding Phantom Knight Fog Blade from my deck to my hand, possibly setting it this turn, so then I'll use Orcust Nightmare's effect, banishing it, targeting one of my monsters which is lived, sending Skeleton from my deck to the grave. I'm going to go into a Link 2, not my mistake, not right now, because I don't have the right materials, so I'm going to banish the World Wand for Girsu, sending another Orcust Nightmare from my deck to my graveyard. And let us proceed as I'm about to go for a Link 2 play, which happens to be Galatea, which is co-linked with Lib. I'm going to shuffle World Wand back to my deck, setting Orchestrated Return from my deck to my field, and then I'm going to activate Return, which I just said, sending Girsu from my hand to draw 2. I'm going to set the Fog Blade just in case. He targets Mekk-Knight, and I special some Jackalope, draw 1 for talents. I'm going to go into Dingirsu, sending his set spell trap card to the graveyard. I'm going to activate talents since he used Shangira during my main phase because I used Small World and he targeted one of my monster zones and then made it unusable. So. I'm confirming with him. I already let him know it was not during standby phase, during my main phase. So he agrees and he realized that it was the play was definitely legal. So from here, talents goes to grave. I'm gonna go into Link 3, Longirsu, but Lib's effect resolves when grave, shuffling his Absolute Dragon back to the deck. And here I kind of slip up with Longirsu because before it resolves, I got to shuffle 2 of my banished machine monsters into my deck before I send the Kashtira to the grave, the Telemans Kashtira. So I kind of got mixed feelings. I didn't realize. I thought maybe he was stalling because he got butthurt. But later on, he will be butthurt. So, and I let him know you have to resolve the chain first. So he is correct on that. But yeah, he's pretty much at this point reached the point he's about to rage quit. So while I'm about to do that, and he gets really salty afterwards once you see his last words. So he's gonna use his Kashtira, James Kashtira's effect on himself, and it's pretty much at this point it's pretty much absolute game. So I'm gonna go Link 4, gonna target Longirsu, and Axco gains them 1000 attack equal to Longus' link ratings. Gonna use his Shangira as well as my Galatea and my Nessie to go into Burrow Sword. It's pretty much game. So even if I want, I save Gizmek just in case, just to overkill my opponent, and wait until the last thing that he says. Yes, Burrow Sword should be nerfed, but what's to say that his deck shouldn't be nerfed at all? Like, is his leg as if Borosor is only a card broken? But I just played it fair. He's just butthurt. He only says it's Borosor is broken because he's on the losing end of the duel. So not really much to say unless he was using it against towards my field. He wouldn't have anything to comment, and he would only try to, if anything, solidify and justify his cards because it's only the fact that the card is against him is the reason why he's getting butthurt, he's rage quitting and salty about it, and trying to deflect on his mistakes by realizing that, like, had he not been prepared for this duel, he should have just accepted the loss because I'm pretty sure I played it fair and square and just should have accepted defeat because what's to say his deck isn't broken? Because it's the same thing as if he's saying my deck is stupid, it's pretty much stupid that he's playing a deck that a lot of people hate, that pretty much trolls the shit out of players and gets them even more irritated by milling their deck, forcing them to banish a bunch of cards when their cards they have to activate by being sent to the graveyard. So he's just being a complete hypocrite because I guarantee he wouldn't have anything to say had the duel been in his favor. But again, he's the one who's taking it in the ass, and I'm just the one who's happy to earn this victory, considering how difficult it was for me to actually achieve something that is very unique and versatile. But again, this is something that I came up with my own ideas, which obviously took a lot of brainstorming, and I'm glad something that I made managed to succeed against something that people claim is possibly topping or is just simply overhyped. But overall, I hope you guys enjoyed the duel. Be sure to check for more upcoming content later in the future. Be sure to check your notifications. Comment, like, subscribe. Thank you.